Hariom, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of the Chick podcast series. Today, we will be discussing challenges in college, a conversation for students to navigate the ups and downs of university life through the lens of Vedanta. As we begin a new semester, there's often a sense of excitement in the air, with new classes, new goals, maybe a new mindset. But at the same time, it can also bring pressure to perform, to figure out your major, and to have it all together. Today, we're joined by Kritikaji, who's helped many students navigate their journey throughout college with grace. And we're asking, what does it mean to move through these moments with clarity and not collapse under the pressure? And how can Vedanta help us find our footing again? Thank you for being here, Kritikaji.
Adio, thank you for having me.
So, let's start with one of the most uncomfortable feelings, failure. Whether it's a low grade, not getting into the program that we wanted, or just feeling like we're not enough. We've all been there. And we wanted to ask Kritikaji, when something doesn't work out, how can we understand failure through a Vedantic lens?
We understand failure not as something that has happened to us or something that we have not been able to accomplish, but it's something that we are just witnessing. This is the first thing. So we shift our vision from something that is outcome-based thinking to more of a growth-based reflection. We can reframe that question now to, did I gain clarity from this? Did I grow from this? Can I grow from this? What did I learn? And then I could even take that a step further and say, where was my attachment and why is this considered as a failure? Right? Why is it that I'm not just seeing this as another opportunity for a different avenue to proceed along? So that shift from performance to perspective, that shift in thinking in itself is called as freedom. So that failure is just feedback. It's not my identity. But in Vedanta, we just call it as another experience. It's just another wave in the ocean. And those waves, they come and they go. So we have to grow in clarity rather than cling to an expectation. Otherwise, then that attachment, it creates inner turbulence in our mind and agitation in our mind. It creates more desires in our mind. And then nowhere in that is there any calmness. We're always running after something else. If I failed at this test or exam, next semester to make up for it, I'm going to take 5 or 6 courses instead of the allotted 4. And then I'm going to overwork myself, or I'm just not going to try next semester. So rather than cling to some sort of expectation or be attached to it, clarity comes when we loosen our grip. And so we just have to do the karma of what my dharma is, whatever my duty is, whatever stage of life, which for us, for you all, and I guess myself would be brahmacharya. So that would be to study and then do all the duties that are included or assigned to that student life. So is this something that is truly aligned with who I am and what I'm doing and what I value? So then sometimes that clarity actually is just disguised as a disappointment, which helps us grow later on.
Yes, that reframing is so powerful to see failure as feedback rather than spiraling or attaching this expectation to your self-worth. As Kritikaji mentioned, a big part of college is figuring out what you're supposed to study. And sometimes we think that we want to go down one path and realize that it doesn't align with us anymore. And this can be confusing and oftentimes scary. So, what if we're not in the right program or the right major? What does Vedanta have to say about making this decision?
There's a nice Sanskrit word, which is swadharma. Swadharma means my unique inner nature, what I am naturally attuned to, what I naturally love to do. You know, there's a nice saying, you never have to work a day in your life if you love what you're doing. And you'll see there are we know many people in the mission who are doctors or business people, and they're just so jolly every time you see them. Our Swamins, are so jolly every time you see them, and they have the weight of the world on their shoulders because everyone comes to them with their problems. So Swadharma means what my unique inner nature is. It's not what my parents want me to do. It's not what society is trending, what society is telling me to do. It is what feels natural to me. So it's something that I'm quietly drawn to, even if it's not flashy. So if I feel at home here, does it energize me or does it exhaust me? So actually, when we look at this term Swadharma, it goes beyond ego and it goes beyond fear, right? Both of those things. I should not be fearful of what the outcome is. I should not be fearful that I will not do well in this field. I should not only take up a field because it will give me name and fame. Swadharma goes beyond those things, ego and fear. It is something that I'm naturally good at. Now, of course, trying to figure that out is very difficult. I know for me, when I was in school in Toronto, we had a careers session where you had to fill out a quiz, and then based on those attributes and all of that, then you were placed in, you would be a good lawyer, a good politician, a good astronaut, or whatever it might be. So that gives you a general idea of where your personality is at. And then as you see, so maybe you'll see police officer and you say, I don't want to be a police officer. So then that doesn't vibe with you, but then maybe being a lawyer is something that you would like to do. So something that stands out to us and makes us feel comfortable in what we are doing and what actions we have to do to achieve that goal. And in doing that, there's no space for likes or dislikes, raga, dvesha to enter. When I'm doing my duty, there's no likes or dislikes. I'm just doing my duty. So then therefore, then I can be a karma yogi. Otherwise, then I just have to work extra hard in whatever field I'm in. But at this age, if I'm able to find that niche where I'm able to shine and be who I am and be happy in what I'm doing and be joyful in what I'm doing and be able to help others and not covet. Many people, when they enter into a workforce or when they realize how good they are performing at whatever job they are, or even in school, then they want to hold on to what they have. But our rishis were the best at what they do, at best at experiencing Atman, experiencing Brahman. And our rishis and our swamis, they share all that knowledge as much as they can to whoever will listen. So in that same way, I should not be fearful that someone is going to take my job, that someone can be better than me, because I'm naturally good at what I'm doing and I love what I am doing. That in itself would take me strides in whatever field I'm in. So in looking for whatever I am naturally inclined to do, I should think about what short-term discomfort there are versus long-term alignment, right? That is called Shreyas versus Preyas. So switching programs might bring temporary uncertainty, but Vedanta, it reminds us to prioritize long-term clarity over short-term convenience. And it doesn't mean to say every year you go and you switch your program until you really just run out of options. Vedanta also is decisive. I'm going to take up this program because it meets these requirements or it checks these boxes, maybe 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 6, whatever it is. And so maybe I could take this up. And if I'm even okay at doing it and I'm happy in that field, then I take it to its fullest. Because you really don't know until you know. So you need to dig in one hole 10 feet down to reach the water, right? You can't dig 1 foot in 10 different places. You have to keep digging in one spot to reach the rasa or the water that is there. So that right action is not always an easy one, but it's one that speaks out to us that we are aligned with. And it means that if I have to flip a coin and in the air I say which program should I go into, the one that immediately goes into your mind, do that one. So choose within reason. So what is good for me, what I like to do, what I'm naturally inclined to do. And if your vision is such that you want to serve others, then whatever job you're going to take up, whatever it may be, envision and understand how a job plays its role in the entire context of the universe or in the world, however broad your mind wants to work, in your community, in your home. How do I contribute back to society in whatever field I am in? Because every single field is connected to something else in the world. And that is why there's always a chain reaction. You may not see it, you may not be able to readily identify it, but once you think about it, every single thing is contributing to the sustainability of the entire world. So I ask myself then, am I choosing out of fear? Am I choosing out of faith? Do I have shraddha in what I'm doing, or am I choosing out of fear? Does this reflect who I'm becoming, who I want to be? If I want to change the world and I go into politics, am I going to be swayed by adharma, or am I going to be able to stand up against the adharma and be the change I want to see?
I love the concept of swadharma that Kritikaji mentioned about how your inner nature and your purpose should be what's driving you to make your decisions rather than ego or fear. And I think it's also important to recognize that this doesn't happen overnight. It's a decision that you have to make with thorough reflection and asking yourself deeper questions like, does this bring me joy and meaning? And finding something kind of in the middle of both of those, right? And doing so really requires cultivating focus. And that brings me to the next question, which is how do we build focus when we have so many distractions everywhere that pull at our attention?
Start small, even 20 minutes a day without your phone or without looking at the screen, or just sitting quietly by yourself. Maybe meditation is an option, but many people don't know how to meditate also. So just sitting by yourself. That also, sitting outside in nature, just listening to the sounds and counting how many sounds there are and seeing how many you identify from the smallest sound to the, all of this means that you are just eliminating distractions. So these tiny habits, they actually build concentration. So focus isn't built overnight. It's a muscle, so to speak. Abhyas is necessary, consistent, everyday effort with the same amount of effort every day also. And you may try in the morning and you find that your mind is too chanchal, because it happens. You know, your mind is just going back and forth. You can't sit down and focus. Your mind is agitated. You receive some bad news or something that you read in the news affected you, whatever it might be. So then you try again later. That's all. You sit down with a nice cup of tea or whatever it is, you Hanuman Chalisa until your mind is calm again. Whatever it is that brings that calmness to your mind, and then you try again. So you try one thing at a time, one place for everything, one deep breath before every new task. Those simple rituals, so to speak, those things anchor the mind. So that should become not even a habit, that should just become a daily ritual. That should become something that you do every single day, because habits you have to build. Habits can be broken also. This has just become something that is natural to you, something that will contribute to focus. And that thing that you anchor yourself to has to be something consistent. We are seekers, we are Vedantins. So that's focus, that anchor that we choose should be something that is sadhana related. Use that anchor when we do that sadhana for the sake of focus, then there should be some purpose that is linked to it. So when we're unclear about why we're doing something, especially this generation or these last few generations, we ask why. We're not just necessarily bhakti oriented, but we want an answer for everything. So when we're unclear about why we're doing something, then our mind drifts. Right? So Vedanta encourages acting with a purpose, but not attachment. That's nishkama karma. So acting with a purpose, but without attachment. So it means that I'm focused. My focus is deepened when we remember what we're really serving, who we're really serving. And in all of that is karma yoga. Karma yoga doesn't start when you get a job. Karma yoga starts from the moment you're a child, the moment that you're able to think for yourself. So karma yoga means that Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. I'm doing this for Bhagwan. I'm offering everything back to Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. Whatever reason comes, I accept it as Prasad. And then I'm doing my dharma in all of that. So if I'm a student means that I am also a daughter or a son. So that means I have duties at home. I also have a duty in school. I have to pass my exams, and that means that I have to put in the effort to study. And if I'm getting trouble with studying, then I need to go and ask for help. And if my teacher cannot help, then I need to find a study circle, or I need to find a friend, I need to find another professor, whatever it is, I need to find a way to be able to succeed in that course or in that line of work, whatever it is. And that means by my effort. If I do succeed, but then the teacher loses my exam paper, or the exam results never gets uploaded, or the university, the next program still doesn't accept me, I have no control over that. But I have done my work. I have done what I need to do. And Guruji talks about karma phala also. It comes at different times. And we know this when we study as well. I have an immediate result. So if I write an exam and then I get the results afterwards, I passed, I failed, I got mediocre, whatever it is. So that's an immediate result, right? I've done something, or I walk into a wall and I feel pain. But there's also a delayed result, delayed phala as well. If I'm studying for 4 months for a subject, and then 2 days before the final exam, I get sick. So I can't write the exam. All the karma that I would have done for 4 months of studying, it still amounts to something. It still amounts to me knowing that subject very well. So I may not have an immediate result of a test paper, but I have the result where I can use that later on or immediately whenever it needs to be used. But I have all of that knowledge from the last 4 months of studying. So it is an ongoing result that is there. So the focus doesn't happen overnight. I will not become focused tomorrow if I do japa once. I have to keep doing that sadhana over and over and over again. And then eventually, then that mind, all the distractions are removed from it. And whatever I'm about to engage in, then all my focus is there. My mind is where my hands are, as Gurudev used to say. My mind is where my hands are. And if my mind, my hands are, all the energy is put right there. Then I am able to focus completely on that action, that thought, whatever it is. And then I am able to do that without any attachment to the result or attachment to whatever will come after. I'm able to focus exactly on what I'm doing.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense, and this shift seems very doable where we switch from an extreme lens and break it down into what we can do every day with small and intentional choices. Something that we've talked about in our chick classes is usually a small grounding practice like japa or journaling that we repeat daily. And we've noticed that that one small action really changes our entire day where we feel so much steadier. And I think this really also applies to this idea of exam anxiety and dealing with your mental health in college, where one small action can really help us to gain clarity throughout the day. But there's also seasons where we have to deal with a lot of stress and even panic at the same time. And the world might just tell us to push through and do the best that you can. But how do we honor our mental health while also aiming to be the best version of ourselves?
The mind is the exact same mind that was there 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago. The mind is the same, and the mind is like the weather. It changes from great. Just today in Trinidad, we had sunshine, bright sunshine. Everybody did their laundry and the clothes are hanging out. And in 3 minutes, some huge storm just came and then rewashed all the clothes and all. So 1 minute it is sunny, and then the next minute, dark, cloudy skies. So thoughts come and go, just like the clouds will come and go. Anxiety is like the passing wave. It's not our identity. We observe it, we breathe through it, we don't fight it, we witness it. Now, anxiety or depression, panic, stress, all of those come as a result of me thinking and living in the future. It may be from the past also. Last time I tried to write exam, I didn't do so well. Or I heard the other day that these students who were in their class, is the same class, they said that the professor throws a loophole or, gives a really difficult question and nobody passes that class. I remember that. There are professors that, it's an easy pass, and there are professors that no one could pass their class well. In Vedanta, we live in the present. We use the future to work towards a goal. We use the past to learn from many lessons and mistakes, or things that went well, things that didn't go well. But we live in the present. And even now, that is the past. And so every single second, millisecond that is going by, I stay present. If I have done the work, if I have put in the effort, if I have all the materials that I need, and if I didn't have materials, I went and I found them, then I will do well. That is all you have to worry about. And most of the time, especially with Indian children, because we have so much pressure from our family, do well on the exam, you have to do well. And we study so hard. We do very well with our studying and our work. But the moment we sit down and we realize the exam is coming up, then all this anxiety comes to our mind. And it's not necessarily that I'll fail. There is no guarantee that that will be the result. We have no guarantee of any result. We only have the guarantee of the effort that we put in. So first is we have to understand the mind. In Vedanta, we are not the mind. I am able to objectify the mind. If I can objectify something, then I am not that. It is just an instrument. So then we have to befriend our mind. We have to befriend all of the instruments. Hey, mind, you're really putting me down today. Mind, you're really acting up. Just calm down. Just chill out, and then if you're doing math homework, then say, okay, you know what, I don't understand what these numbers are doing. Let's befriend them. Okay, 4, you need to go on this side of the equation. These brackets need to go on this side. So befriend everything, personify everything then. And then it becomes more relatable. And then because humans also need a connection. Human mind needs a connection. So if I'm able to connect with that thing that is causing me agitation, that makes it a little bit easier for my intellect to get a little foot in the doorway and say, okay, guys, calm down. It's okay. We're going to get through this. We just need to do X, Y, Z to be able to achieve the goal. So that mind is just an instrument, and it requires clarity and focus of our intellect to step in so that that stress doesn't come up when we're supposed to be living in the present. So surrender in Vedanta doesn't mean that I'm being passive. It doesn't mean that I'm giving up or anything. It means that I'm doing my best, and then I'm letting go of the need to control the outcome. Whatever happens, happens. That is the nature of the world. And Bhagwan has played everything out perfectly. If everything is karma, then I am getting everything that I deserve. It means that the amount of effort I put in is the result I'm going to get. That's all. And even if I put in all the effort, I break my brain trying to study for this exam. We may not see the results immediately in that test, but that long-term result will be there. It will come up somewhere else. The punya of the effort that I would have put in. So when we talk about mental health, to me, the stigma that is attached to mental health is that it's something that I can't control. It is something that will bring me down, and I need to avoid it, or I need to be very, very tender, and it's very breakable, and the mind is strong. We know that. We can't get out of some of our thoughts sometimes. The mind is strong. That is why our rishis, our sadhus tell us that we have to be stern with ourselves and loving with others. When that mind wants to break down and say, I can't do this, take a few breaths, chant Om, chant Hanuman, use whatever that anchor is to bring us back to that zero, that equilibrium, that middle point. And then, feel the ground, feel your feet on the ground, identify different objects with all the different sense organs and ground yourself again, and then get going. put that mind aside, put those thoughts aside, and then get going. If the thought has come, it will go. That is the nature of the mind. If it's a good thought that has come, it will also go. If it's a bad thought, it will also go. So we have to also remember that our mind is strong, our intellect is stronger, and Bhagwan is the strongest.
Yeah, the point about not identifying with the waves of anxiety that we feel really stood out to me because as students, it's really easy to think that I am stressed instead of stress is just something that I'm experiencing. And it's not something that's happening to us, but just something that we're witnessing, as Kritikaji said for the first question as well. And in those moments, for me, I found personally being connected with a spiritual community and having a space where we can talk about more than just grades or what jobs we're applying to has been really grounding. But I know that's not something that's easy to find on campus. So I wanted to see what Kritikaji thought about meeting others who think beyond these very baseline thoughts about career and your grades and how to find them or even create that space.
Go out into the community and find opportunities to be with others. Now, university culture is partying and studying. And some people are able to balance it, other people choose one or the other. But that is not all that there is to life. When you're able to get an internship with this organization, when you're able to volunteer with this group, and that volunteering could be in a soup kitchen, it could be with animals, it could be with showing people around the city. It doesn't have to be anything grand or anything humongous. It doesn't even have to be necessarily anything religious or spiritual. It just means that you're opening up your mind to different experiences, because in those experiences, you're going to find obstacles and you're going to see how other people who are older, who are wiser, who are more chastened in whatever field that they are in, how they deal with it and how they succeed. And in observing how other people interact with the world, then that builds little tidbits of survival, so to speak. It builds tidbits of how to be a human being, of how to be a sadhak, how to be a strong soldier in this entire world through our life path of experiences. So we think that being in university and uh, having 4 exams within 1 week is the biggest stressor that we could possibly ever face. And it will have stress. That is a lot of work to do. I'm not saying that it's not, it is a lot of work. But then you're going to get older and you're going to have 10 different problems coming at you at the same time. You're going to have your work life, you're going to have your home life, you're going to have your social life, you're going to have the home life will include whoever your spouse is, or if you choose that route. And then you're going to have to also deal with the whole life of your parents and your aunts and your uncles, your grandparents. And all of those suddenly are going to have obstacles or issues or problems. How you deal with it is dependent on how you have learned to deal with society and these issues while growing up. So the more that you are able to get involved in university, in your community, in your city, in your center, whatever it may be, do it. Try to find at least one activity in a different sector. So find something to do in nature, find something to do with volunteering, find something to do with a sector of society that relates to what you want to do in life. So an internship or a job. Then find something to do with a different generation. Work with elders. Start small and be sincere in whatever you are doing. One really good conversation is much better and worth more than 20 superficial ones. So who asked the thought, who's on the same level as you, who has the same values and morals as you also? Because you won't find many like that in America and Canada. So who has the same values and virtues of, no matter what religion, who is that person? Who lights up when you talk about purpose and you talk about peace? These are your people. And so then you have to also create what you seek. You look for the environment that don't go join party clubs. You're not going to find any type of fulfillment there. Don't go and join a vaping club, or I don't know, whatever people have nowadays. you're not going to find what you're looking for there. Even 2 or 3 people, do you have time now? Why don't we go to the library and read this book? I just want to talk about this. I just read one paragraph and talk about it. So consistency, and then meet weekly when you all hang out, when you meet up with your friends. So, I don't understand why war happens. Even if it's something where they want to talk about the dynamics of personality and the mind, that also is contributing more to your sadhana like that. So depth attracts depth. When you begin living or looking for something deeper, then you attract. There's that thing, vibes attract your tribe or something like that. You attract like birds of a feather fly together. So you attract the people who you're like, don't try to fit into university. I don't talk to anybody from university now. I don't talk to many people from high school, much less elementary school. So don't try to fit in anywhere. Find where you like, what environment you like. That in itself will become your home space. That becomes your happy place. So that when you're stressed out about exams and you think, okay, now I'm going to go talk with the children, that's a de-stressor for me. It's not just going to Starbucks and drinking a coffee or something. There's something that has purpose attached to it.
Yeah, the idea that a seeker finds spirituality in every instance really resonates. And even if we don't have a defined chick space at our campus, engaging in seva and sadhana really helps us to just develop gratitude in our lives. So before we wrap up this lovely dialogue, I wanted to close with one final overarching question, and that is, if I'm heading into this semester with uncertainty or with a scattered mind, what is one thing that I can hold on to?
Then hold on to the saying that I am not lost, I am learning. No one really has it down until it's happened. Everyone thinks that, in high school, then when I go to university, right after university, then I'm going to get a job and then I'm set for life and then everything will flow really smoothly. But everyone is still searching, and that search is for happiness. So the happiness that we interact with is always temporary, isn't it? We go looking for a job, we want the final exam, we want this degree. So all of those are temporary things. So I am learning through all of these experiences, all of these interactions, the nature of the true happiness, that Ananda of Sachidananda. Right? I am not the confusion that I'm having. I am the awareness that is behind it. Even when my mind is scattered, there's something that is observing that scatteredness. There's something that's saying, oh, I'm so confused right now. So that means that there's a witness to that confusion. I am what is behind that witness. I am Sakshi. So I don't need to have all of it figured out. I just need to be present. I need to be sincere. I need to do my dharma. I need to do my duty. I need to think clearly about what I want and what I need to do to get to that goal. I need to be willing to grow also. So through all the stress, sorrow and stress, that helps us grow. That's how we grow up. Otherwise, then you just remain immature. You remain a high school student for the rest of your life. You don't want that. You want to face the pressures of the world and overcome them and understand its nature and understand your nature and understand your mind a little bit better also. So even if I have a question about the mind, then that's fine. In my sadhana chick class, in my study class at my Chinmaya Mission Center, then I will gain the answer. Then I could do vichar on it. Then I gain a little bit more clarity. And then I go back to school, or I go back into that environment again with a little bit more knowledge, a little bit wiser. So then I can deal with that distraction, deal with that obstacle head on with confidence. So the thing that I can hold on to is that I am learning. That's what sadhaks are. Every single day we are learning, not just at a materialistic level, but at a spiritual level also. Every single thing I should reframe in my mind as a spiritual question. Okay, what is this teaching me? Why am I angry? What do I desire out of this that anger has arisen? What did I desire so that guilt or insecurity or stress has? has risen. Okay, let go of it. I have no control over it. Let go of it. And if I can't let go of it, then I turn to my sadhana, I turn to my anchor. And then that will take me through until I am able to become present and maintain that samatvam of my mind, become balanced again. Clarity will come. It will come with one breath. It will come with one step. It will come with one sadhana, one practice that we do every single day consistently.
Yes, I really like the idea of shifting from outcome-based to more of a growth-based reflection. So we wanted to say thank you so much, Kritikaji, for all the wisdom and advice that you shared. This has been truly such a rich conversation that we had.
Thank you all very much. I loved having this podcast and I loved having this conversation with you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, thank you all for listening. If you're a student at home trying to stay grounded through the highs and the lows, just know that you're not alone and every challenge is a chance to grow in clarity. We will catch you all in the next episode and hurry home.
If you enjoyed what you heard or want to learn more, share this episode with a friend or find us online at facebook.com/cmniagara. For those on the journey of self-development, Chinmaya Mission Niagara provides a community forum for seekers to listen, reflect, and contemplate. This podcast is produced by the Young Adults of Chinmaya Mission, an international nonprofit working to transform individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta. Until next time, inspire, love, be.